Welcome back to the Balancing Act podcast. I'm Andy Temte. On the Balancing Act, we talk to business leaders and industry experts to explore the balancing acts we play in our professional lives and learn about the events that put rocket boosters behind their career success. Today we have Erika Sinner joining us. Erika is the CEO of Directorie, an Inc. 5000 company in the life sciences industry, and she's founded Tiny Superheroes, an initiative to empower children in hospitals, and she's also the author of Pets Are Family. So welcome to the show, Erika.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for our conversation.
Yeah, it's and we're all kind of along the Mississippi River here. Eric's down in St. Louis, and I'm in La Crosse, and our producer's up in Minneapolis. So it's not very often that we could all get on a boat and eventually run into each other. All right. Well, Erika, please give our listeners the elevator pitch version of your story.
Yeah, I would say I am a founder and CEO of a biotech agency that helps small to mid-sized pharmaceutical companies bring really important medications to market. I am a best-selling author and a philanthropist, that's my newest venture.
All right. A little bit more about your background. Where'd you go to school? What made you tick earlier in your career?
So I went to Lindenwood University here in St. Louis. It's actually the first women's college like west of the Mississippi. And I have recently found out Taylor Swift's grandma went there, which as a Swiftie, that's important to me. I've spent the last 20 years in the life science space, pharmaceutical marketing, commercial marketing, and 7 years ago, I founded my company, learned a lot. I've had a lot of growing years, and I care a lot about safety as a core value of mine and helping others feel seen and heard and creating spaces that reflect that. So I think as we talk about each of my endeavors, that will shine through.
Excellent. Well, it was really that tidbit about Taylor Swift's grandma that I was looking for. So I'm just kidding. Erika, if you had to pick one event in your life that just put rocket boosters under you, what would that be?
You know, it actually stems back to my childhood. My dad, I was a daddy's girl, and he met someone else, and we had a moment where we were sat down, and he let us know he had a new family, and he would be choosing them. And I think that type of conversation as a child is really hard to hear. You know, if you've the rest of my life, if I was never not picked to be on a team or, get a job, nothing was going to hurt as much as that did. And it really fueled me in my life I had a lot of feelings of unworthiness. And gosh, if I was gonna do something, I better be worth looking, in my direction. And it's taken a lot to fill that hole. But I wouldn't change it. It's made me who I am, and I'm really proud of who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, those moments of trauma really are some that really do fuel us. So thank you for that vulnerability.
Yeah.
So Erika, let's start. You've got so much going on. Let's start on the marketing side of the equation. Tell us more about Directorie. I was at the CHEST conference yesterday in Chicago, and in the event hall, I'm sure there were companies that Directorie represents. It was quite impressive. What does Directorie do, and what makes it different? What's the it factor?
Yeah. So we help small to mid-sized pharmaceutical companies commercialize. And what that means is really stepping in as their commercial team. So we're sizing the market. We're looking at the little label that comes with every medication, the package inserts, that white folded up piece of paper. And how do you translate that into messages for clinicians to really understand and to identify the right patients that would benefit from this product in a safe way? And that's a lot of teamwork, a lot of effort. Every single thing that goes out from a company has to go through medical legal review. It goes to the FDA. There's a lot of regulation around that. And some of these smaller companies don't have access to really
Mm,
top talent, right? I mean,
yeah.
because they can't offer the safety and security around what if we don't get approved? What happens if we have a delay? That's a really hard sell to get someone to leave a big pharma company and come work for them. And so that's what we do. And what's really our it factor is our leadership team has all sat in the role of the manufacturer. So everything we've built is based on that experience. So we actually know what they've gone through. And for our teams, regardless of whether there's more information needed or it's not approved or something happens if there's a delay, we're okay, right? Our team still has roles and we're like, let us know when you're ready to re-engage and we're here for you.
Yeah, seeing it firsthand in a very, very, very large conference center where the big pharma companies, it is very clear that they've got lots and lots of money behind them. So I'm sure that your services are sorely needed for those who are looking for that competitive advantage. So it sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I'm starting to do these mentorship moments. I usually do them in the back half of the show, but let's get it right up front. Let's suppose that you have a college marketing student sitting right in front of you right now. They'll be graduating this spring, got all sorts of choices in front of them.
Yeah.
They want to make a difference. What should they be doing right now to help set themselves up for success in a really competitive field?
I would say start to learn how to tell your story and to tell the experiences that you've had. So if you're in college, if you're part of a sorority or fraternity, or if you're part of a committee, there's a lot of skills that are applicable in the real world. And I think a lot of people will say to you, well, now you're in the real world, but you've been in the real world, right? You've been balancing your schoolwork, you've been balancing homework, midterms, all of the things. Those are all really special skills in project management, in budget management, in how you manage your time. Being able to clearly communicate your skills to your future employer is a big deal.
Yeah. So when I was, and thank you for that, as I was learning about you and your management philosophies, the concept of empathetic leadership was kind of front and center, and not only, and so you like to talk about the benefits of that. I'm a huge believer in the power of compassionate leadership. Empathy and compassion are tightly interrelated.
Yeah.
I lean into compassionate leadership because compassion is empathy plus the ability to, the willingness to do something about it, and really importantly, the ability to detach and not like get intertwined with all of the stuff that's going on
Yeah.
and really protect the person. Tell us more about how really adopting this compassionate, empathetic leadership style can drive business results and spark innovation.
Yeah, I think it's super important, right? In my company when I founded it, I wanted my employees to feel human, not just hired. We don't have a bunch of robots working for our organization. We're all human beings, which means we're complex. We have emotions, we have feelings. And as an employer, I think it is important to understand that when things happened outside of work to your employee, it is going to impact them at work. Now, do we have a responsibility to the team and to show up and to do your role? And, companies pay for results, not for effort. So, right, we all have a contributing piece of the team. However, there are moments in your life where big things are happening and it is going to deter you from being able to show up fully yourself. And I think it's important for leadership teams at the very top to be asking how you're doing. Tell me something awesome that happened last week. Tell me something that was really frustrating that happened last week. How is your family? And getting to know what your employees' family structure looks like, what is important to them, so that when you're asking for the busy weeks and you're in the middle of a launch, they're going to give more. But in the slow times, where it's like, hey, it's Thursday, you could leave early and probably catch your daughter's soccer game today. I think empathy, compassion, it matters when you think about people as a human and also making it safe for them to let you know when they're not okay. Because when they're not okay, right, that's going to impact quality of work, the team dynamics as they show up to work. How are they showing up in meetings? There's a lot of implications on the employer side.
Yeah, it's a real balancing act. I talk about the balancing act between trust and accountability, which is very similar to this construct of
Yeah.
compassionate leadership, and we got to get stuff done at the same time. As you've grown in your career, as your businesses have gotten bigger, more expansive, more people, how do you keep that empathetic leadership going? Because you just literally, as a leader, you can't know everybody once your employee set gets beyond a certain size. How do you keep the human when the human front and center as a business grows?
Yeah, I think for me, it was super important to identify what were the foundational moments that we spend together as a team. So we actually document out in our organization, we call it Moments That Matter. And it outlines every team meeting, every one on one, every all hands meeting, our annual summit meetings where we come together as an organization. And in this one page snapshot view, you see all the moments that matter, all the times the team is connected. And we formalized it to say, here's the objective for what we're doing in that meeting. Here's what types of questions should be asked in that. And one of the most important ones is the one on one. And I know in my corporate career, that was always the first meeting that was canceled. It was always the like, do you really need this today? In our organization, it's mandatory. And to your point, as you scale, you can't be there for everyone, but if you should be there for your one-on-ones, like your team that reports into you. And as we've structured out what these one-on-ones are, I think sometimes it's just drawing attention and helping leaders and managers know how to use the time, how to ask the right questions, how to connect with your employee in that one-on-one session, and making sure that it actually happens so that your employee can depend on that time with you. So I think starting from the top, it was a very annoying process for my team when I had us do this, and they were like, "We're leaders. We get paid a lot of money. We know what to do. We've been managers. Why are we being this stringent?" And over time, they've really seen the value and the benefit that every employee is getting the same experience. It's not left up to the manager. So I think that's one way to do it, and I think that gives you a pulse on how the team is doing. And then the second is through compassionate policies like pet bereavement leave, where it's in black and white. It's a document that if you lose your animal, you have an opportunity to take time off work.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your book, Pets or Family. But before we cut to break, I just want to dive a little bit further into as a business scale, the whole scale thing. When my businesses were small, we had people that used the F word, the family word. Oh, this feels like family, and that always I was always very that was a cool thing to hear, but at the same time kind of frightening as a leader because you don't, the old saying, you don't fire you don't fire a family member, right? And so that accountability factor, how do you, in your management practice, how do you think about that separation between family, which is messy, icky, yucky, and the business world, which is also populated by humans? It is necessarily messy, but how do you separate that?
I am in complete alignment with you on we never use the word family at work in terms of like we're a family. I'm families cross boundaries, right? You didn't choose your family.
Yeah.
I always liken our team to like an NFL sports team. Everyone has a role, everyone has a responsibility. We pay for performance, we pay for results, we don't pay for effort. The easiest way to demotivate an all-star employee is to have one that's not putting in their time and effort and letting them keep going by, right? And now the all-star
Right.
employee is having to clean up the mess. And so we talk a lot about that, about accountability, about performance, and the fact that we're a team. And those who get promotions, those are the ones that are putting in the extra time, raising their hands for extra projects, doing the extra things, just like on sports team, those who are the ones who are catching the football under the lights, they're not being benched, they're not being traded. And we talk about that too, right? You have to find the right company that's the right culture for you. Some players do better on different teams and different
Yep.
organizations, different pace. But for us, we care a lot about our employees, about what's going on with them, but also we ask a lot of them too. And so, by being on Inc. 5000 now 2 times, it's triple digit growth over 3 years. And that's been the last 6 years. I think we've been able to prove you can have both. You can ask for a lot and you can also care.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Because it is a balancing act. It's a hard balancing act to play, but it does have its rewards. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Erika Sinner. Hey everyone, I'd like to invite you to start your weekend with me on the Saturday Morning Muse podcast. I briefly explore topics that span leadership, business management, education, and personal continuous improvement. Subscribe to the Saturday Morning Muse podcast on your favorite podcast streaming app or visit andrewtemte.com for more information. And we're back with Erika Sinner talking marketing, leadership, and we'll actually be talking about pets in just a little bit. But first, Erika, I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan, and at the end of every first quarter at a home game, we all turn around and wave at the kids who are watching the game from the University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital. It is so cool. It's just become this huge tradition. So I wanted to talk about Tiny Superheroes and the cape. Tell us what Tiny Superheroes is all about.
Yeah, so Tiny Superheroes is in my nonprofit. I acquired it last year and then converted it into a nonprofit. And what we do is we help kids who are born with a disability or they've come down with a condition that's going to require them to be in and out of the hospital, lots of surgeries. We give them a new story about who they are, that they aren't broken or defective, which is a lot of medical terms. You're born with an abnormality or you have a birth defect. We actually see those differences as superpowers, and we recognize them for being so strong, brave, and courageous on their clinical journey.
Oh, that is just awesome. So
Yeah.
it was a business and you converted it into a nonprofit? Is that?
Yes, it's been around for 11 years, and the idea was beautiful. It was this idea of helping kids have a different mindset about who they are and to really celebrate their differences, or when they have a colostomy bag, or when they're in the hospital, or these kids are not getting to be on sports teams. They don't get to be in school full time. They're in and out. And so you can start to feel like maybe you don't belong. And this way, we're saying you actually belong to a superhero squad. And there's kids just like you, right? Doing amazing things across the nation. But it was always done through direct to consumer marketing. And the parents would buy the capes and then the patches. And so since then, I'm now transforming superhero culture in hospitals is our new vision.
Awesome. So can you give us a success story, your favorite success story from your experience with Tiny Superheroes?
Yes. So our program actually gives them a real cape. And on their capes, they get to earn mission badges for every clinical journey that they go on. So every x-ray, every chemo treatment, every surgery that they have, they're earning these patches on their cape. And we also do a monthly mission program, just again, recognizing they're not in school or on sports teams. So they have something to look forward to. So we're helping them learn to really feel brave and strong as they're going through their clinical journey. But then we're also reminding them to be kids and to play and to do these monthly missions. And so my favorite, I would say, is Super Sabrina. She's actually at Boston Children's Hospital right now. She has been there since February of this year, waiting for her heart. She was on the list. She needed a new heart. And her mom, when she found out about the program, it was just a very different way to talk to her about, hey, we're about to have an MRI scan, and that's going to be about 45 minutes. And we're going to put your cape on, and you're going to be really strong and really brave, and you just have to be really still. But then you're going to earn your patch afterwards. And for kids, like when you can gamify something like that, that feels very different than saying, okay, it's not going to hurt, and you're going to go into this big machine, but I'm going to be right outside and I'll see you right afterwards, right? Like kids look to their parents to know if they're safe, and play equals safety for kids. So if we're talking about missions and we're going to earn patches, they just go in with a different mindset, even though you're telling them the truth of what is going to happen. And even through chemo, right? They start to embody and feel the same words, and they repeat back to their parents, like, I'm going to be brave, I'm going to be strong. And mindset, it matters in life for so many things. So it feels
Yeah.
really good to do it this way.
That's very cool. I remember when I was 8 or 9 years old, I had a jean jacket, and it was the era of the patches, and gosh, I was so proud wearing that thing around. I can just imagine how that translates
Yeah.
into a family support, medical support.
Yeah, for Super Sabrina, her mom had ordered they get the patches through the hospital, but then they'd also had their heart transplant, and they had it available, and it was always a discussion point of, I can't wait for when I get my heart and I can put this onto my cape. And the good news is she actually just got her heart 3 weeks ago. So they got to put the heart on her cape, and it was a big milestone for her. And it will always be something she can look back to and remember what she went through as a little girl and what she's already survived so much of in her life.
Well, thank you for doing that really important work. As we mentioned before the break, you've got a lot going on. So tell us about your book, Pets Are Family. What's the main takeaway and why?
Yeah, I think the main takeaway is that we live in a world today where pets really are family. 8 out of 10 American homes have an animal, and many of them consider them part of their family. They really become a part of who you are, a part of your routine every day. So when they pass, the silence can be really loud in your home because it's all of your routines, all of the
Yep.
times that you saw them. And, I think as a society, we're all really comfortable when we get a new puppy to share the pictures and to talk about them, but we're not always so comfortable saying we're not okay. And for me, we lost Kingston 2 years ago. I've always had pet bereavement as part of my corporate policy at my company. When I lost him and I took the time, I didn't realize the shame I would feel in actually taking the time, right? And here I am. I'm lucky. I own my company. I set the policy. I allow for my employees to take it. And I still wondered, gosh, as a CEO, am I supposed to be showing up like everything is okay? Am I instilling confidence in the future of our organization? Or are they going to feel like something's off if I'm not great? Um, and so I think it was through that process where I couldn't believe how I was feeling, that I just knew I couldn't, and how lucky I am and privileged I am to be in a position to be able to take the time off, that I felt a responsibility to normalize the conversation around the grief we feel when we lose our animals, and to advocate for compassionate policies like pet bereavement leave in other workplaces.
So let's say you've got a CEO of a larger company than the one that you run, maybe 1,000 employees, and their head is spinning right now, calculating the number of pets that all their people have and how much pet bereavement would quote unquote cost. What do you say?
Yeah, I would say the CDC reports that it cost American companies $200 billion every year in unmanaged grief. And that comes not just from your employee might call in sick anyway.
Right.
They might let you know what's going on, and you might, as an employer, say, well, you have to come in anyway. So then they quit. And now you have to backfill that salary position that you already have. Or they might try to just make it through and come and to work. And there's a lot of quality issues that could be happening with their work because they are experiencing real grief. So I say there's actually really large economic and also emotional benefits as an employer to offer something like this, because you can show up to this. Doesn't happen all of the time. It's just really accounting for a moment in time where your employee just needs a little bit of help to either take time off work or to at least reprioritize their tasks so they can keep their head above water.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Before we get to our lightning round, Erika, where can folks get a hold of you?
My website is erikasinner.org. I'm also on all social media platforms. I respond to every DM, every comment. It means a lot. So I would love to be connected.
Excellent. So, 3 lightning round questions. I probably know the answer to the first one, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. You've just won a $100 million lotto jackpot, but there's a stipulation that half of your net winnings go to one philanthropic organization or cause. Who do you pick?
It would be my tiny superheroes. We're going after all 226 children's hospitals, and then moving beyond to the ones that don't have the brightly colored rooms and don't have the celebrities that come by and stop by to visit. So that would be mine.
Good. Well, I hope to be at a future University of Iowa Hawkeye game and looking up into the Children's Hospital and see a few capes on the windows. That would be very cool. Erika, give you access to a really small time machine. You can send a message to an earlier version of yourself. What's the message and what previous version do you choose to send it to?
I would send it to my teenager self. I think teenage years are so hard. We're very hard on ourselves. But I would say, like, you did it and dream even bigger.
You did it and dream even bigger.
Yeah.
Great. If only our teenage selves would listen to us. All right. So, Erika, we're all works in progress. What are you focused on right now in your personal journey of growth?
For me, it is really remembering to take care of myself. We can't have big lives if we don't take care of our human bodies along the way. And I think we all struggle with that. And taking care of yourself can mean a lot of different things, from the food you eat to moving your body to making sure you're getting time in with friends and laughing. It really matters.
Yeah. Well, Erika, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today and introduce you to our listeners. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. My name is Andy Temte. This is the Balancing Act podcast. You can find us on all the major streaming services as well as out on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, rate, and most importantly, share this public good with your friends, your family, your neighbors, and a colleague or two. The show is produced by Nick Temte, and we'll see you next time on The Balancing Act.